Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Millen. We have two very special guests today. So we have Kate Edelson from NAMI, that's National Alliance for Mental Illness. You're the Director of Fundraising and Special Events. We're going to be talking about special events. And we have a filmmaker to her right. All right, Sabrina Federhofer. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the upcoming film festival. And I want to make sure we got the name right. The correct name of the film festival is Real Minds Mental Health Film Festival, presented by NAMI.
You got it right.
Okay, so tell me about it.
Okay, so the Real Minds Film Festival is one of NAMI's signature events. Our last one was in 2019. This was pre-pandemic times when we could easily have 1,000 people in one room. And it showcases short films all about mental health. So these films are all less than 20 minutes. They show different perspectives related to mental health, whether it's in youth, whether it's psychosis, or whether it's a different kind of mental health condition. And each film showcases a perspective that is relevant to us and shows a message of recovery or hope. So we'll be showing 10 films on October 20th, which is a Sunday, at the Dennis Moss Cultural Arts Center in South Dade.
South Dade,
Yes.
216th Street?
Yes, that's the one.
US 1?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Great facility there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you mentioned one of them is about hope and in the future. Isn't that what most people want? They want to know that there is hope.
Exactly.
Right? And to be able to express it and to be able to look down the road and know that the sun is shining. It may be a little cloudy on the way there.
Right.
Right? But there is hope there. So let's hear about you.
Yeah, I'm Sabrina Federhofer. I'm a local filmmaker here in Miami. I just graduated this year, actually, with my bachelor's in film at Miami-Dade College. It was a great privilege. It was a beautiful program. And with that program, I was able to make this film called Unnested. And I submitted it to the festival because it talks about empty nest syndrome. So that's, if you're not sure what that means, it's when the kids leave the family home, and sometimes parents can go through, like a married couple, or even if you're a single parent, you can go through like withdrawals, depression, loss of purpose, things like that. It's a collection of symptoms. So I wanted to talk about that in a hopeful light, like you were saying.
So there's going to be 10 different ones. That's one of them, right?
Yeah.
You're local. Congratulations on
Thank
doing
you.
that. Can
Yeah.
we put up the website address for NAMI? So, and a perfect example for when my son was out of town at school, every time he'd come in, I'd pick him up at the airport, and I was really happy. By the time I got out of the airport, I was already sad that he was leaving.
Yeah.
And so I get that, and I think a lot of people understand that.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the film?
Yeah, like my inspiration, for example, I still live with my parents, but I have an older brother, and he moved out like 2 years ago. He got married. And I wrote the script before that, and it was during the pandemic. So I think it was also my perspective on it, even though I'm not a parent and it's my brother, but kind of that dynamic in the house changing. It was like a reflection of my withdrawals from friends during the pandemic, my brother leaving, then seeing how my parents interact with me, and it's different now because he's not there. So all of that, I was like, this is something that I think people will need to hear. And when I did research, I saw that like a lot of films didn't talk about it. And when they did, like they would make fun of the parents, or it would be like, they're on the brink of divorce or like infidelity. So I didn't really want to go that route. I want them to be like a unit together fighting through this. But it is a comedy, so you'll see. It's really funny.
So it's interesting that you brought up about the siblings in the house who can have similar experiences.
Yeah.
Just because who says, oh, they can just, you got 18, 17 years together and there's brother, sister going away. Frequently, that's a time when some people have problems.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because another one of our films that we're showing is called Shoelaces, and it shows that exactly, that dynamic between two brothers. And one of them has gone to a facility. We don't know why, but we know that there's a serious mental health condition at play, and the other brothers come to pick him up. And there you get to see, again, some of that dynamic where it sort of is like there's some tension, and you can see that, and they're fighting a little bit, and they're talking about mom said this, and you see them in the car, and one of them gets angry and he leaves. And I won't share more about the film, but it does a really good job of showing some of the tensions, and when it comes to family, you know, things get a little complicated, and when it comes to mental health, it touches us the closest in ways we might never think that it would, you know, in ways that surprise us at times.
And quite simply, isn't that part of the reason that you did this, because you saw the dynamics of that and what a difference that could make.
Yeah.
So again, this could be October 20th, from 1 to 5. Just
Yes.
people can get tickets, but they can go to your website. And can you put the website address up there? But let's go again about your inspiration. One, to go into school to study it, and two, how did you move from I'm going to go to school to study it to I want to be a filmmaker?
Well, all my life I was a very artsy, crafty person. I love all like avenues of art, and so as I was growing up, one of my pastimes, our pastime as a family, would be going to the movies. Like that, when I was growing up, they didn't really have streaming, of course, so we'd go to the theater, and that was more of an exciting thing to do on weekends and things like that, or the summer. So my family loved movies. I love different kinds of art. So once I was in high school, I realized like, well, what's the one medium that combines them all? And it's film. And I also love like history and more academic side, like science and math. And again, you can also put that in film as well. So anything you want, you can put in film. You could tell a story about, like Unnested, for example, is about empty nest syndrome. I can make another film about cooking, like different things like that. So I thought that was so fun, so interesting. And I just love learning. So I thought, okay, I think I could do this. And I went to college and I studied it. And I realized, okay, I think I want to be a writer. I think I want to direct. And of course, they teach us other things as well. But
we're going to put that other stuff
yeah.
aside. We're down to the important stuff.
Yeah, there's different parts of film that are important.
So a group of people selected the films that are going to be shown. Why did the group select Sabrina's film?
Well, Sabrina's film is, first of all, beautifully filmed. And it shows some of the key factors that are in play when it comes to mental health, especially with families. And also, it's local. It takes place here in Miami, and I think we all love to see our own home shown in film too. But one thing I will say is that the topic of empty nest syndrome really hit home for some of our judges. One of our judges felt really strongly about the topic because when her kids left her home, she experienced really intense symptoms of mental health. And to the point where she really questioned her identity even, because she had 2 adult kids who left home. And then she was sort of like, well, what do I do with myself? Who am I after decades of being in this role? What do I even do with myself and all this time I have now? And to, for so long, have been in that role, and then on top of it, to have dealt with her own mental health stuff, it really hit her in a very intense way to see this portrayed, and she felt really strongly that this was a real issue that a lot of people deal with. And, at NAMI, our main mission is to highlight mental health conditions and to provide resources and education around it. And so she felt strongly that this was a good opportunity to educate people about this particular topic.
Do creative outlets such as thing that Sabrina's doing help the process of the mission of NAMI? Tell us
100%.
Tell us why that works.
Well, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And with film, you're getting so much more than that. You're hearing it, you're seeing it, and you're feeling it usually, assuming the actors are doing a good job, which our films they are. So,
Sabrina, we know when we watch some of those TV shows, they have the people get up, they tell a little story, and then they sing. And, within like 30 seconds, you could be crying or laughing, right?
Yeah.
What is it about us as human beings? The music gets into our soul faster than anything.
It's true. Yeah, art just has that. And I understand what you mean with music. Like, I love film, but music really is like half of filmmaking, truly. Like, when you edit everything together, it really matters the score you put. So we had like an original composer come in and do it. Because it really, I don't know what it is scientifically. I think maybe with the vibrations of the music waves, I don't know. But I do know that music has a lot to do with your emotions. And I think when you see people, it's like for 2 hours, whatever it is, in this case 16 minutes, my movie's that short, you feel like your mind doesn't really realize it's not real. I guess when you're there, you're experiencing a film, and you kind of allow yourself to like be there and put yourself in their shoes and experience this situation that maybe you're not going through, but you can relate to, and then that's what gives you that emotion.
Passing a lot
it transports you.
Yeah,
you're going to be passing on a lot of Kleenex.
We have them at the ready.
So just as you walk in, break out the Kleenex. So when you were putting together this film, did you consult with some people? And if so, on what levels?
Well, of course, my parents, seeing their experience. And then I did research, of course, to just see, like, how to treat this with respect, and dignity. And actually our producer, Letta Barham, she's great. She's a local producer. She's done commercials for 30 years, and then she went to our school. She went back to college, which was so interesting. And she was able to produce this film. And she herself is an empty nester, her and her husband. So working with her so closely as she's the producer, she was right there and she loved the experience. She loved the script. That's why she joined it, So she was always there too, for counseling and anything like that to make sure we did it accurately.
And Kate, the last time you did was 2019. This is already 5 years later.
I know.
And
I can't believe how much time has
we all
passed.
remember December 2019. There's this little bug that's going around, but don't worry. In a year, it'll be gone. 6 months, don't worry. It'll all be good.
Great.
So here it is now, actually 5 years later, almost to date,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So what is it like for NAMI to bring this back again?
Oh, I mean, we've been waiting to bring it back for years. I've had people ask me, when are you bringing back? When are we going to get to see the films? People who come to our events wearing the 2019 Real Minds Festival shirt.
right?
That's the one.
representing.
I still have it. It's got a few cracks on it now.
If you were a guy, the
but-
shirt wouldn't fit anymore.
But we're using the same design, actually. We loved this design so much that this year's film festival will also feature this beautiful shirt, which we will be selling at the venue as well. And anyone who purchases a VIP ticket for the event will also receive a shirt. So
I'm sorry, what type of ticket?
a VIP ticket.
VIP,
So
okay.
the event starts at 1 and goes on till 5. And then anyone who's purchased a VIP ticket, which is at about $120, can attend the post-event reception where there'll be some snacks and some of our lovely filmmakers.
You think Sabrina's looking forward to that? Yes.
I love snacks.
That's wonderful. All right. I'm glad you're feeling really, feeling really good about it.
Oh, so excited.
I know the other producers are from out of town.
So we actually have another local filmmaker. He's in Orlando, so he will be there, and he's actually going to be on one of our panels. I will mention that we received a lot of films this year about anxiety and panic attacks, especially in youth, which I think shows a theme about where we're at in society right now to receive such an overwhelming amount of these films. So at least 4 or 5 of our films focus on the topic of anxiety, though in many different forms. Some of them are animated, some of them are musicals, some of them are very funny, and some of them are a little more serious. So the name of the film is called My Week with Charlie, and it focuses on panic attacks and the appearance of a very mischievous dog. I won't give anything else away, but thankfully the director of the film, Matthew, will be with us on film day.
That's wonderful. I understand we have a trailer.
Yes, we do.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
show the Unnested trailer.
Alex, can you cue it up?
When the family nest suddenly becomes a bit more roomy and gloomy, 2 lovebirds will have a flight of a mid-lifetime. Yahaira Maria is Joanna. Ted DeChâtelet is Gerard. Unnested. It's never too late for a new adventure.
So at the end of that, you said it's never too late for a new adventure. Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Yeah, actually that line came from my brother. I was back in the time when I was writing it, and he came over, and I was like, I don't know what to write here. I don't want it to be so obvious on the nose. And he's like, what about it's never too late for a new adventure? And I'm like, oh, okay. Actually, in the film, I no longer have that in the dialogue, but he came up with that, and I thought, okay, this is a good tagline. So on the poster, and as you saw in the trailer, it does have that. And it's true because I'll give a little bit away. Not really. The synopsis is that they have empty nest syndrome. They don't really realize it. And they use social media, because it's a current thing that we have going on, to try to reach out to their kids through there. So you'll see. But through that, they realize they do have another purpose besides just being parents. So
It was interesting you said that social media, that's things that's going on now, which means that implies there's something else that's there. What is after that?
what
You
what
just
they
said
do?
that things that are going on now, all right?
With social media?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. So we'll move on with that. So what did your folks and the people tell us about the way they're treating you now and how they look at you today compared to just a couple of years ago?
Oh, wow. Okay. Based on like the film or just, oh, wow. Yeah, a lot of my friends, they knew I studied this, and I would show them things I would edit, little films that we shot in school. And they were like, oh, this is so exciting, like you're studying this. But when I invited everyone to the screening at the school for this film, this is like my thesis film, they were just like, whoa, like you actually do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's like 5 years of studying. This is what came from it. And I'm just so blessed that how proud they are of me, and not just me, like the people, they know some of the crew, like the director of photography of the film, he goes to my church. So we have the same kind of friends, and they're all like, oh my gosh, you guys do this? This is like what you do? I'm like, yeah. So they're just really proud, and they, every time they see me, they're like, oh, that's the director. I'm like, oh my gosh, like don't call me that, but I mean I am, but it's very surreal, you know. So
it's okay. We all understand what being self-actualized is. I used to think you could be self-actualized and you only had to do it in a moment. But that has to constantly be worked on, because when you arrive at a certain level, this is wonderful. Yes, I've arrived, but where did I arrive to, and what is next? So tell us a little bit about your journey so far.
Well, you know, I landed at NAMI because I had all of these experiences with mental health, whether it was myself, whether it was the people around me and my family, my closest friends. And for a long time, I felt like I was just bumping my head from wall to wall, not knowing where I was going or what I was going to do with a lot of the pain that I was experiencing, a lot of the sadness and uncertainty around mental health conditions. So when eventually I did end up at NAMI 6 years ago now, which is wild to think about, and I started to see a path for myself, and then all of a sudden I was so involved in our 2019 film festival, in our youth program where we got to talk to teenagers and middle schoolers about mental health conditions. It really started to feel like something was aligned here, that this was what I was actually maybe meant to do in that sense, because all of the experiences of pain was transformed into something helpful. And that's what NAMI does. That's NAMI's mission, is to help those who have mental health conditions and their family members, and to find help, find hope, and know that they're not alone. And so that's exactly what happened for me. So, 6 years later, I am fully dedicated to being a part of this mission and to meeting wonderful people like Sabrina, who shed light on different experiences. And sometimes it has to be funny. There's no way to get through mental health without some dark humor. And a lot of our films are quite funny. And some of them show a harder side to deal with. And so I hope when people see the films on October 20th, they get to see what a transformative experience it is to have those moments where you do feel something a little tough, and to realize that that's okay and that's normal and that's part of the human experience. And here we are all together experiencing it together. So at least we're not alone when we're dealing with these difficult things that oftentimes we may have received some messaging that we shouldn't talk about. So that's what I love about the film festival. And earlier you asked, what it was like to have a chance to show this and to be a part of this and what it might mean to us. And it's getting the experience to bring other people in and let them know that there is a chance to find information and resources. And we haven't touched upon this yet, but I did want to share that between a lot of our films, we're actually going to have experts share information about the topics that we discussed during the film festival. So I mentioned anxiety and panic attacks earlier, so we will have some experts on stage sharing some information about it. And also, like I mentioned, another one of our film directors who's going to talk about his personal experience, but from the creative lens as well, which I think is going to be a really great combination. And then we're going to touch on some other topics like body dysmorphia, first episode psychosis in youth, and then some of those family dynamics that I mentioned in Shoelaces, and then a beautiful movie called Tumakiko, which is where a family unearths the real cause of death from one of their family members. And they have to have a very difficult conversation that many of them never wanted to have. But it's a beautiful film, and I am really excited to share it.
Good. Thank you for that. Sabrina, what do you hope happens after people see your film?
Oh, that's a great question. Things like this conversation, as she was talking about, when you show something, it sparks conversation. And even if you're not an unnested parent, it could be someone my age, young or whatever, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. I think the film shows like a positive, you could like pursue a positive lifestyle and or a productive lifestyle in a healthy way, and that there's purpose all around, like how she found her purpose in doing NAMI and how I find mine with filmmaking and you here at the station. There's always like things that we can do with our lives to like improve the people's lives around us and things like that, and the film, it really does push that. Like they find what they were looking for in the end, and it's really like hopeful and wholesome, and that's what I would want. Just people to have fun with their lives, and maybe they can get some ideas because there's different things that they do that are shot in South Florida, so maybe they can experience those things. You'll see. Yeah.
Those must be little hits. So,
Yeah.
Kate, what do you hope that people get out of seeing those films and being able to talk to some of the experts and being able to hear them speak about their personal experiences?
I think at the end of the day, it's really about connection and education, right? Seeing something that will touch you, like we were saying, and might even spur you into action if you were hesitant before. In 2019, during our last film festival, we had the largest influx of volunteer applications we had ever received. And so to be able to do this again, to do something that I know will touch people, and then also to bring in the local community in a lot of different ways. So we'll have those experts, we'll also have sponsor tables, and then we're also going to have Mayor Daniela Levine Cava do some welcoming remarks at the beginning, and seeing our elected officials be part of a mental health event. I must have said this a million times, but it's always so important and so crucial because 6 years ago, I was out there with my little tablecloth as outreach coordinator in the community, and it's the National Alliance of Mental Illness. So when people would start to read my little banner, they would get to the mental illness part and already they'd be walking away. And I would be like, I'm very friendly, like our programs are free, come talk to me. But they were halfway gone by the time I would shout out to them. And so it's beautiful to see that that's changed.
And we've seen that, and I've said it many times, I think when the concept of a mental health day, in the beginning, it's oh, that's odd. After a while, it's like, okay, right? Michael Phelps gets on TV and paid commercial. He says, listen, when I have a problem, this is what I do. The Simone Biles.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden we're going, yeah, we can relate to that. And the more relating there can be, the more at ease people will feel that they're not alone.
Yeah, and that's why visibility is so important. You know, today's World Mental Health Day, and we put something out about it, and people immediately picked it up and they wanted to share it. And now to see everyone posting so openly their story, wanting to connect with others, it's an amazing thing to see, and it's a great reminder of why we do the work that we do and why something like a film festival is important, giving people that opportunity to watch a film and maybe realize something they didn't know or recognize something in someone that they maybe weren't sure was a mental health condition. And after seeing this, they might be more open to having a conversation. And then on top of it, we've provided them with resources. So they'll be able to say to someone, hey, I saw this, I thought of you, I'm worried about you, and also here's where you can go.
Alex, could you put the website back up? So one of the things we recognize is that men don't have mental health problems. That's the gigantic myth that is out there. You know, you go and you think of all the women's care, health care that's out there is all sort of normalized. Check out, see what kind of men's stuff's out there. No, men don't need that. We're all John Wayne or whoever your male hero is. And so we grow up, you know, butch up or whatever you'd say. Come on,
pull up by your bootstraps.
And that gets down to people like me. When I had my baby girl this big many years ago, I was afraid I was going to break her. But I treated my son a little rougher. Same age, all right? And it's like, that's just something that we grow up with. And the more men that you can have that's there, the more the husband can relate, the father can relate.
Yeah.
And, instead of saying, my wife, she's the one that's feeling unnested, all right?
Right.
And it's a unit. It goes together. Just like when one person's happy, the other person's likely to be a little bit happier as well.
It's true.
And so if somebody needs to have a conversation with somebody at NAMI, we have the web address up there. They can go there. There'll be some phone numbers. They can talk to some people.
Absolutely. And we have a helpline that's open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, in a variety of languages, English, Spanish, Portuguese. So if anyone wants to give us a call, 305-665-2540, or they can check out NAMIMiami.org or email us at help@NAMIMiami.org. Okay.
And I'm so delighted that Sabrina went to school with two people that actually work here.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing that the program, the Miami-Dade College has,
yeah.
all right? 4-year degree in film,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And I would say that 95% of the people that have worked here in this arena are from Miami-Dade College.
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
They're
know. I'm
amazing.
just stunned, all right?
Yeah.
And it's very happy that we all, own part of Miami-Dade, that we're here and that we talk about the good things that,
Yeah.
that they have there. Continued success to you, Sabrina.
Thank you so much.
Kate, as always, thank you for your commitment, for helping people.
Thank you.
And God bless you, folks. All right. Thank you very much, Sabrina. Again, October 20th, you can find out more information at NAMI.
NAMImiami.org.
NAMImiami.org, and buy your ticket and bring a friend along
They
with
start at $10.
you. Right?
Yeah.
And it's affordable. Folks, remember, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a great day.